Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody who is here early in the morning. We know it's been a busy 4 days. Who is excited, but also at the same time sad that this is the final day of the People's Reset Mexico 25. It goes so fast. We've considered doing it for 7 days, but I'm not sure we could do that and handle it. But for now, 5 days is where we're at. And I just want to really say to everybody here at home, everybody in the room, all of our vendors, all our speakers, we're so honored. We're so grateful. I have my voice back now, so I'm feeling better. And I was telling somebody the other day, this is kind of like a 5-day birthday party for me, I feel like, because I get to hang around hundreds of amazing people who have a lot of great things to share, their own stories and their own journeys, and so much wisdom and so much knowledge and so much love. And really, I feel like most of the year I'm an introverted person, but then we have this amazing 5-day experience and it just feels like I never want it to end. So I'm just so grateful to every one of you who have made the time, the energy, the money, etc., to come here and be here with us for 5 days, or for those who stay longer, we're really grateful. And for those who are sticking around, I just want to make sure you know there are more workshops and things happening tomorrow and Tuesday, I believe. So if you're sticking around, there will be more to get into. But yes, today is our final day for the People's Reset Mexico 2025. And everybody at home, we're again really grateful. I just checked this morning and we have a number of donations. I think we've had over 50 donations coming in so far from across the world. So thank you. Please give a round of applause to everybody who's been supporting us at home. We really, really, truly couldn't do this without you. So I just want to start off the day with one more appeal to let you know, if you've been enjoying the past 4 days, if you haven't figured it out yet, you can go to the Greater Reset, People's Reset Odyssey channel, and every single talk is already posted. The full days, part 1 and 2, from day 1, 2, 3, and 4 are already posted. And over the next 30 days or so, I will be editing all the individual talks and releasing all those in English and in Spanish, completely available for free. And for those who are not aware as well, if you use podcasting platforms like Spotify and others, you can find the People's Reset, the Greater Reset. Every single talk from every single event we've held since 2021 is available for free, and all of the various themes. So if you enjoy this information, if you think you're going to get something out of this, you're actually going to take these tools and apply it to your life, please consider going to thegreaterreset.org/donate. And all we're asking is everybody who's watching at home, we checked the numbers yesterday, more than 10,000 people have tuned in over the last couple days from more than 15 countries. And if each of you felt inclined to donate $25, just $25, that would allow us to continue to do this. And I can say for certain, although there was some question and uncertainty for a few days, we are going to do this again in 2026. And we really would love to have everybody who's at home here in Morelia next January with us. So please consider supporting this movement. And thank you to everybody here who does support this movement in all the ways you guys do. All right. I want to share one more message before we talk about today's theme. We get a lot of powerful emails and messages and hugs in person that really, for me, it's a humbling experience, because I mean, you guys choose to be here with us, and it's so valuable. It feels so real. And I just want to share one of the messages that came in this morning that John Bush actually shared with me. And the message says, "I've been watching the People's Reset from home. I've caught almost every single speaker. Yay, Rebecca and John, for your awesome talks. I'm so excited about what positive things are taking place in our world. These people are truly my people. This is my tribe. I've shared with my friends, and I've also donated, and I'm definitely going to be in person next year. Thank you, God, for leading me to these beautiful people and to this movement to create the beautiful new world. I'm so proud to be a part of this. I'm feeling so much love." That's what we want to create. That's what this is all about for us. I mean, I really, truly mean that. When somebody comes up to me, I've shared this story before, but last year and even this year, even the speakers, the speakers are having really powerful experiences, and they come over and they say words of gratitude, and they're really grateful for it. But one of our speakers last year told me something that has just stuck with me, because it's just such a beautiful, just a beautiful imagery. And he came up to me and he said, "This event, this activation has filled my cup up in a way that I didn't even know I needed." And just that feeling of just coming together and feeling like you're finally home. You're here around like-minded people. We know we have our differences of opinions about different topics, but we find the common ground and we focus on that. And I think that's perfectly aligned with what our theme is of today, which is building free and conscious communities. So I'm just going to read real quick the description of what we consider this theme to be about. So how can we best implement the knowledge that we've gained over the last few days into our actual communities, whether you're talking about living in an intentional community, eco-village, homestead, on the land with other like-minded people, or you're just talking about living in a neighborhood where your friends are nearby, or even living in the city with friends nearby. Not everybody necessarily in our movement is trying to move onto the land. Many people in our movement love the city. I think in the long term, that's probably not the best strategy, but I recognize that not everybody does want to go live on a farm, live on an eco-village, etc. Nevertheless, whatever that word community means to you, whether you mean in the sense of being on the land, you mean in the sense of being in a suburb or a town or a city, but you have like-minded people around you, we want to think about how do we incorporate the liberate your mind, body, and soul lessons we got on Wednesday? How do we incorporate the permaculture and food independence lessons that we got on Thursday? And the ideas about building parallel systems. And then yesterday's discussions on empowering technology. How do we take all of that information and then actually implement it into our communities? What practices and rituals are important to developing a healthy sense of self, family, and community? So today's final day is focused on how we can create intentional communities, eco-villages, and agoras, and like I said, all types of community, which take this holistic approach to building a new world. And as I said on day one, that is the reason we do hit all these different themes. We bring in elements of crypto and elements of decentralized technology and elements of permaculture and all these things, but we want to embody all of those. I truly believe that we need a holistic approach if we're going to build the better world that we know is possible. There are many people who are experts in one area, and we want to bring them here, but we also want to emphasize that each of these pieces plays an important role in us building the better world that we know is going to be needed for the coming 7 generations and beyond. So today is going to explore that idea of building free and conscious communities. And before we get to our first speaker, let me just throw it out to everybody here in person, and anybody watching online, please do comment, and we'll read the comments in a little bit. What does that mean to you? Just feel free to shout it out. What does it mean to have a free and a conscious community? Sovereign, national, tangible currency. And freedom to educate our children however we wish. Freedom of expression. Right to refuse unwanted medical treatment. So I love all those. And I showed the patch the other day that one of our volunteers made, and it kind of had a list of the various principles that this event is about. And I think you guys all sort of outlined that. We believe in bodily autonomy. We believe in individual liberty. We believe in freedom of expression. We also believe in interdependence. We think that we're all powerful, beautiful, free on our own, but also we know that collectively when we work together, we can do some amazing things. So we're going to explore these principles and these ideas. We have 7 different presenters today. It's going to be a very beautiful, filled day. But we're going to go ahead and start with the beginning. And where do we begin? We begin at birth, right? That's where everything starts. And when I say everything, I mean the good and the bad. Your trauma can begin at birth, or a beautiful experience coming into this beautiful, crazy planet we live in. Depending on the birth, depending on the how that goes, where it happens, etc., the type of people involved, I think all of that plays a big role. And I'm not a father yet, and I have not witnessed a birth, but I'm really blown away and just amazed and inspired by our next speaker as I've got to know her. She's also, for those who heard me speak on Friday, she's one of our activators, working on joining our community. And as I've got to know her and see her passion and her fire and her love and her joy for humanity, but also for serving the children and serving mothers, it's just, it's something, like I said, I'm not familiar with, but I have just so much respect for it and so much love for it. So please give a warm welcome to Brenda Smith as she talks about catching freedom.
Good morning. Thank you all for being here. Wow. Catching freedom. What the heck does that mean? Catching freedom. In the US, when a woman gets pregnant, all of her friends come around and say, well, who's going to deliver the baby? It's the mama. Always. Only the mama delivers the baby. Even if it's a surgical delivery, somebody else has to receive. Who's delivering? It's the mama. And that's co-creating a human life. What is more important in the whole world? And what is the one thing that connects every single one of us, every human being throughout the history of the world? It's birth. And so catching freedom is allowing yourself to receive what the Creator has in store for you. So we're going to talk about first childbirth, and then we're going to talk about how that catching the freedom includes every one of us. When a woman gets pregnant and she chooses, supposedly, a birth attendant. Now, not everybody chooses a birth attendant. There's such a thing as a free birth. And I've supported those too. Women who don't really want a lot of people around when she delivers. And there have been plenty of people throughout history, women who really did not want anybody else directing their birth as though it's something that can be orchestrated. Think about it. Do squirrels need a midwife? Do foxes need a midwife? In the wild, they know their own bodies. They know to go find someplace quiet, someplace peaceful, someplace away from prying eyes. So, what's the first thing we do when we get pregnant? We sign up for the whole lights, camera, action. So it's a different story for us because we've gotten away from our roots. Let me share this with you. Look at this. This is the first humanoid birth that ever happened on planet Earth. And each of these lines is a mama. Mama, 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 all the way down. How do I know that? Because this is today's mama. And she had a mama, and she had a mama, and she had a mama, all the way up to here, every one of them. You want another surprise? You, all of you, were inside your grandma, because every woman has inside of her, every female has inside of her all of the eggs that she will ever have to deliver babies. You were inside your grandma. You received cells from your grandma that had her memories up to that point when she delivered your mama. And she, your grandma, received from her grandma those memory cells. And we have lots and lots of memories of freedom passed on to us. Did you know that every baby is born an anarchist? Don't believe me? Try to make them shut up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Try to demand that they be quiet. And they are not going to stop until they get those demands met. But they're just, they're wise. We need to pay attention to them because they will show us what freedom is all about. They won't give up. They will not relent. And when you have something that is an important demand, I need food. I need rest. There's nothing more important. When we love ourselves, we love others. That's the only way we can love others. We cannot possibly love others until we love ourselves. Let's talk about some of the things that are used against us, that fear mongers, whether they know it or not, whether that's their intention or not, they use against us to make us feel that we're not capable of doing this very natural thing without them guiding us. Now, can you imagine going to the bathroom and having somebody stand there with you and say, now I want you to concentrate on this real hard and bear down. Now, bear down. Well, that's preposterous, isn't it? And yet, having a child is just as natural as going to the bathroom or coughing or sneezing or laughing or playing or anything else. Watch children, they know how to do it. It's beautiful. But When we are in a captive environment, thank you, when we're in a captive environment, we're vulnerable. And so I recommend that you have somebody that you trust, that you love, and you know they love you to attend you, not to tell you what to do, not to coach you necessarily, but to help remind you of the power that you already have inside of you. Now, let's say that um, you're in labor and you kind of feel that at first you started feeling these little, I wonder if that's what it is. Oh, I better clean the house. Shush, girl. You need to go lie down. Take a hot shower, take a long bath with a little lavender oil in there, and just calm down, because if this is your first birth, it'll probably be a while. Now, when I say a while, it could be 7 hours, which would be a really short birth for a first timer, because that first baby has to kind of plow some fallow ground. It's never been worked, let's say. Oh, by the way, I'm a campesina. I grew up on a farm, so if I use farm terms, please forgive me. That first birth might take 7-ish hours, or it could take days, sometimes even weeks, sorry. But it's okay, because it'll stop and go, stop and go. When do you know you're really in labor? When the baby comes out. There's a term called Braxton Hicks contractions, probably named after a man, good grief. That's called false labor. And so you start feeling some really good contractions. Oh, this has to be it. And so you go to the hospital and they say, well, things are going kind of slow. Let's up you up on Pitocin. So they crank up this stuff, this drug that causes you to have contractions 2 to 3 times the strength of a normal contraction, as if labor weren't intense enough. So you're having this intense contraction that may or may not end in the delivery of a baby, but the baby's feeling all of that. And even if you get an epidural, baby's still going to get his head squished. So is that fun? I don't think so. So there's a good possibility, if your body is just kind of warming up, which is what false labor is, it's that warm up saying, hey, we're just giving you a dry run, get used to it, feel this power in you. And then they cut it off and say, it's not happening today, go on home. You just put yourself and your baby through all that stress for what? Well, actually, it's not nothing. It's a negative, because you may have inadvertently allowed yourself to be at risk for infection, especially if somebody decides to go in there and check the crystal ball. There's this uterus where the baby is, and the mouth of that uterus is called a cervix. And for some reason, midwives and doctors think that thing tells the whole story. It does not. I've seen women go from 5 centimeters to complete and pushing in 5 freaking minutes. How does that happen? I don't know. I didn't make the system. Creator did, and it's perfect. It works. But this is not going to tell you anything except that, yeah, it's that big, or yeah, it's that big, or it's completely closed. It doesn't matter. Nobody can tell you when that baby's going to be born. I saw a woman at complete, they call it complete, 10 centimeters. Then they call it that because the cervix goes all the way around the baby's head. And so she was at 10 centimeters for 3 hours. And I wasn't going to tell her to push. You know why? Because in the hospital, if she's dilated to 10 centimeters, okay, time to evict that baby. Push, and they get right up in your face and tell you how to do it. You know what? If a woman asks my permission for anything in labor, I will always say no. You know why? Because of the frickin' freight train. It's called FER, fetal ejection reflex, and it is so powerful. if they tell you, now don't push, you're going to feel like punching them in the schnoz because you can't help it. It's coming, and somebody better get their hands down there because you don't want baby to hit the floor, especially if you're standing up in a shower. And some babies do deliver in the shower. Some babies deliver in a field. Some babies deliver on the bed. Some babies deliver with the mom kneeling or standing or on all fours or squatting. You don't have to tell her what to do because if she knows herself and loves her baby, it will be directed perfectly by just paying attention and being patient. That's the hard part because what's the incentive? What's the catalyst for the way things move in a hospital birth, generally? Butts in beds, that's what they call it. When they can time about when this baby's going to be born, and then they call housekeeping to come and clean up that room so that they can move this mama into the recovery room and they can move this mama into the birthing suite, and they can really click those dollars in, especially if they can get you on the domino of interventions. So the first intervention is to even contract with a professional healthcare provider, because in the hospital, they say, well, you need to come in when your contractions are 5 minutes apart and lasting 45 seconds to a minute long. And they have all of these protocols that make perfect sense because that's what they learned when they were in medical school. So you go in and your contractions are lasting between 3 and 5 minutes apart, and they're lasting 45 seconds to a minute long. And you're in there and you're cranking out the contractions, and they put in the IV, and that's for your safety so you don't get dehydrated, because you don't get anything to eat or drink when you're in the hospital. If you're lucky, you get ice chips. Did you know that having a baby takes the equivalent energy of running a marathon? Not even kidding. 26.2 miles, is that what that is? That's a heck of a lot of energy to run on an empty stomach. And you're doing the most important work you will ever do in your entire life. And you're in there and your mouth is getting dry. Hey, there you go. I'm not giving birth. Nobody's going to tell me I can't. And you're just getting exhausted and dehydrated. Oh, we're going to have to hydrate you. Here, let's put it in your hand. That's satisfying, isn't it? Let's try. Oh, here, we'll get you some ice chips. I don't want freaking ice chips. I want 5-alarm chili, which is not a good idea in labor anyway. If you're delivering at home, do not eat spicy stuff or anything that's likely to come up worse than it went down. Because there's a good possibility you probably will vomit. Another thing is you probably will poop while you're pushing a baby out. So you know what? They see it all the time. Probably 60% of births, they'll see something like that happen. It's fine. It's natural. It's good. Because when I see a woman losing her lunch, oh, looks like we're going to have a baby pretty soon. It's a good sign. It allows the body to relax. You get rid of what you don't need, and it gives you energy for what you do need. So, what are some of the excuses they give you that, oh, you can't possibly have a natural delivery? We're going to have to help you out. You're too young. I had a girl come to me when she was 14 years old. She turned 15 2 weeks before she delivered. She weighed less than 100 pounds pre-pregnant, and she delivered, bless you, she delivered a 9-pound baby over an intact perineum. She did not tear. She stretched. Your body, a woman's body, is meant to stretch. She did. She just breathed that baby out. You know what? That freight train the best thing you can do is just to relax as much as you can and make lots of noise down here. Don't do it up here because that's counterproductive. Down here. And work with it. Blow that baby out. But it takes patience. You're too young. No, you're not. You're too old. I had a friend who was in her mid to late 40s, 46-ish, I'm thinking. The father was 72 years old when he fathered that child. And she delivered at home. There was a storm, lightning storm, cut the lights. We put on the candles and the kerosene lamps, and it was precious. And they had like 8 kids, and all the kids were there around and just oohing and awing over this little girl is so loved. You're not too old. Are you too big? Oh, I'm sorry, you're too big. You're really going to have a hard time being mobile enough to deliver this baby. I went to a birth with a woman who was over 300 pounds. And as the baby's head delivered, we saw what's called a turtle sign, where the baby's head delivers and then does this, kind of sinks back in. That's a sign of what's called a shoulder dystocia. If the shoulder gets stuck in birth. And so what we do is we change position. So if this shoulder's on top, we put her on her hands and knees, and then that shoulder falls, and then we put her on her back so that we can roll that other shoulder, and then we stand her up and put her in a squat. Voila, baby comes out. It's pretty amazing. And so you're not too big and you're not too small. Baby's cranium has what we call sutures. They're cracks in the skull. They're supposed to be there. And the reason for that, and why you see some newborn babies come out with weird shapes on their head, is because one of those plates goes up over the other one, folds over. Now, baby might get a headache and get colicky and crying afterwards. Go to the chiropractor. Get that taken care of if you want to. But it's perfectly normal because that's why it's left open. It's not fused until down the line. But during that birth, there's that opportunity for the head to squeeze enough to get down through there. There are some times when it doesn't, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. The other thing is they tell you that, the baby's too tiny. The baby's not growing properly, and so we're going to have to take the baby via C-section. You do not have to ask permission for anything, and you do not have to give your consent for anything. You're the last word on this. And there have been plenty of babies who have been born perfectly fine, even after the ultrasound said, oh, there's something wrong with the heart or something awful, scaring everybody to death. Baby comes out just fine. So ultrasounds cannot tell you everything. Not only that, they can be risky because there's heat and radiation involved. They can be useful. I met a lady who had a previous pregnancy that the baby had anencephaly, that the head was not formed properly. And so this time when she was pregnant, she got an ultrasound and confirmed that everything's just fine. That's a good reason to reduce that tension, that fear, because that's the point. Get fear out of the picture. And so, baby's too tiny? No. Baby's too big. We hear this all the time. Oh, baby's not going to fit down through your pelvis. I'm sorry, we're just going to have to cut that baby out. The head can squish in there. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. So, all right. So you're really in labor now. And, the baby is surrounded by water. So the water breaks, the clock starts. And at that point, if you're delivering in a hospital, you have 12 hours to deliver that baby. And if you don't, oh, I'm sorry, it's just taking too long, you're at a risk for infection. Why are you at a risk for infection? I tell you what, if nobody sticks anything up there, there's no risk of infection. If you're in your house, you're immune to everything in there. And the baby is too, as long as they're attached to you with lovely cord. Oh, next intervention. Oh, the cord is wrapped around the baby's neck. Oh, heaven forbid. How long has that cord been wrapped around baby's neck? Do you think that just happened yesterday? We got to get that baby out. That cord, baby has been having a ball in there, playing, and sometimes they come out with that cord in their hand, sucking their thumb. It's fun because it's squishy and they can feel the pulse going through there. It's a great toy. And the longer the cord, the more active that baby's been in there because it stretches to accommodate that baby. So that cord is wrapped around the baby's neck. Oh no, baby doesn't breathe through their neck. Not yet. Baby's breathing through the cord, and that cord is cushioned with this great stuff called Wharton's jelly. And Wharton's jelly is this amazing stuff that no matter how many times it's wrapped around, not even if that baby has somehow managed to put a real knot in that cord, that blood and those nutrients and all that good stuff are still going through that cord. So, all right, showtime. And, okay, we already talked about people getting in your face saying push. You don't have to. They can't make you. But when fetal ejection reflex hits, buddy, watch out. This baby's coming. So here you are, and you're in a position. And who wants you on your back? The doctor, because they're standing there. You may push. You know how that started? King Louis XIV of France. He was apparently such a ladies' man that he had lots and lots of babies, and he liked to watch childbirth. And so, even though it wasn't proper for a man to watch all of that, he would stand behind the curtain. And he didn't like the fact that they were in a squat and he couldn't really see what was going on. So he instructed the doctors to put her up on a bed in a lithotomy position with her legs up here so that he could watch from behind the curtain, see what was going on. And since then, hey, the doctor thought that's a pretty good idea. Now I don't have to get down here. I can be dignified and catch the baby, deliver the baby as they think they're doing. And so, baby comes out. Beautiful, beautiful child. And what's the first thing they want to do? Cut that cord. Gotta take that baby away from mama. Why? Well, first of all, because then they have control. Mama doesn't have control anymore. The other thing is, babies still have about a third of their blood left in the placenta, which is the feed bag that's attached to the uterine wall. So when you cut the cord, when it's fat and pumping blood, you are depriving your child of all kinds of benefits, nutrients, and a lot of blood that is theirs. It doesn't belong to anybody else. They like to market that cord blood because it has all kinds of good stuff in it. And they like to market the placenta too, which they sell to cosmetic companies. Collagen, check your cosmetics, lady, and see if it has collagen in there, because sometimes even the packaging says placenta on it. Yeah. Think about that next time you put that Nivea cream on your face or St. Ives or whatever. So they want to cut the cord. You can stop them. And dads or doulas or whoever is in the room, break that sterile field. Saying, no, you're not going to touch this. Baby's going to let that get flat and white and stop pulsating. Okay? That's what we're going to do. So then what do they want to do? Welcome to the world in this cold room with bright lights. Baby's been in 98.6 degrees for 9 or 10 months or whatever. And now they're in this room that's 68 degrees. It's freaking cold in there. You'd scream too. So what do they do if the baby doesn't scream immediately? They take this rubber ball suction and shove it up their nose. Welcome to the world. Do you want to bring your baby into a world with that kind of violence? It's not necessary. Do you know why it's not necessary? Because even though it's not fun to watch, that difficulty in coughing up that gunk is part of what makes their lungs strong. Why do you think so many babies have such respiratory problems, are at higher risk for RSV, plus they're getting who knows how many vaccines in the hospital that are contradicting all of those wonderful immunities that you gave them inside your womb and you're giving them as you nurse your child? Nope, you're not in control of that, but you need to be. So even if you choose to have a hospital birth for whatever reason, and nobody can judge you for that, that's your decision, it's still based on love. Now, love is the key for all of this. There was a woman, and she's still alive, who lives in Mexico, in Oaxaca, in a very remote little town. Her name is Inez Ramirez. And she had had a pregnancy that she was unable to deliver at home. Nobody was there to help her, and the baby died and was delivered stillborn. She got pregnant again, and she went into labor, and she knew, because of her body, she knew her body, and she trusted her body, and she trusted Creator. She knew something was wrong. And so she prayed, and she said, if my baby's gonna die, I'm gonna die too, because I cannot endure that pain again. But God, if you want me to live, you let my baby live too. And she took 3 shots of isopropyl alcohol, sublethal dose. She took a chicken knife and put her finger on it like this as a guide to how deep it went. She sat in a chair forward and began to cut. And it took her an hour, about an hour. And she performed her own cesarean section. That was almost 20 years ago, March 5th, 2005. She and her baby survived. And not only did they survive, when she was finally sewn up with needle and thread and taken up to the gravel road and taken to the next village, where they took her in another truck to a place where they could life flight her to the hospital in Mexico City, they were astonished that there was no infection. And they were able to reconstruct everything so that she could still survive and thrive and take care of her baby. What kind of love does that? It's in each one of you. Each one of you are birthing things every single day. We all are, because a birth is a release. It's letting go of something. It might be a belch or a tear or a reaction. We birth plans for the future. We birth ideas. We birth art and music. Each one of you has a seed inside of you that is ready to flourish, that is ready to be let loose and to bless the whole earth. It's extraordinary. Each one of us has something extraordinary inside of us. Of course, the most extraordinary thing is a human life. But each one of us has something to birth into this world. And what is the thing that overpowers us, that keeps us from doing that incredible thing? It's the stories, the mitote, the lies that keep us from grasping, from catching our own power that has been imbued to us by Creator. You have something powerful inside of you. It's not just the power to deliver it. It's the power that's inside that gift that will bless so many people. And we have seen that time and time again. Do you get goosebumps? Do tears come? Do you perspire? Do memories come flooding into you that shake you to your core? That's part of that gift. Those are the birth pains. And even though they may not be painful, they're intense. They tell us something's big coming. Something amazing is coming. Can you feel that inside yourself? I hope you can. Because in this wonderful conference that we have here, I have seen it and I have felt it time and time again by every single person that I have met. You have something extraordinary inside of you that is waiting to blossom, that's waiting to be birthed. And if you drop the lies and the stigmas and the stories that are negative, and you believe that Creator has made you for this purpose, this thing right now, you are the only reason that all of them ever lived. Make that story come true. How much time do I have?
Thank you, Brenda, so much. Let's give her another round of applause.
Thanks, Derek.
Yes. So grateful for Brenda for being here. Ramiro, can we roll the TCRN ad real quick? We're going to take a 30-second break, everybody. We'll get ready for our next speaker. Thank you, everybody at home who's tuned in. And enjoy this very quick ad.
Since 2012, the Conscious Resistance Network has been an independent media organization focused on empowering individuals through education, philosophy, health, and community organizing. We work to create a world where corporate and state power do not rule over the lives of free human beings. Our motto is leading by example and helping others in their pursuit of freedom. Visit theconsciousresistance.com to find our articles, documentaries, interviews, podcasts, books, and more. Remember, you are powerful, you are beautiful, and you are free.
Welcome back. We're here for day 5, building free and conscious communities. Who has ever thought about home birthing, natural birthing? Is that a new subject to anybody? I know many of you are familiar with the idea, but maybe for some folks at home that might be completely foreign. And I hope you guys will consider that, because I hadn't quite thought about it when Brenda was first discussing the importance of home birthing. But when you really do think about it, there is so much trauma, and I don't know, hospitals are a weird place. They're kind of a bright lights and super sterile, which I get on one hand, but just seems like such an odd place to have a baby, and they do all kinds of things. We all know about the vaccines and everything in the hospitals and all the requirements. So to me, it seems like it fits naturally within our community to try to consider alternatives to just doing things in the hospital. And really, when you look at it, when you go back not too far, home birthing was just childbirth. It just was what it was, you know. And before the modern hospital systems came along and really changed things. But I'm really grateful. I think that's a great way to start today, and start at the beginning. Like I said, start with birth, and then from there we're going to expand out. So I'm really excited for our next speaker, because we mentioned Monerotopia yesterday. Again, I'll just ask, has anybody been to Monerotopia in Mexico City? Not too many people at this point right now, but I was there a couple months ago speaking, and they have it at this really amazing venue that we're going to hear more about with this next talk. They've done it there for 2 or 3 years, and it's really cool. I don't want to spoil the talk, but it's a really awesome spot in the middle of Mexico City. And if anybody knows anything about Mexico City, there's something like 17 to 20 something million people there. Crazy, big, massive city. And in the middle of that city is just this wonderful venue, which is an example of permaculture, regenerative agriculture, arts. I mean, it's just so beautiful. And we're lucky enough to have the founder of that space here today to tell us all about it and how he created community within the heart of the biggest city in North America. So if we're ready, we're going to go ahead and bring Paco Ayala on stage. And this one will be in Espanol. So if you need headsets, please check those out. Give him a big warm welcome, though.
Hola, ¿cómo están? Buenos días. Me da mucho gusto poder compartir con ustedes un poco de mí y sobre todo también de la experiencia del tejido social que he podido crear junto con muchísimas personas en el Huerto Roma Verde. Este tejido comunitario que pues es parte de lo que hemos estado hablando en todas estas sesiones maravillosas, el poder de la comunidad, cómo podemos hacer que las comunidades sean libres y sean conscientes. Y bueno, yo empecé un poco con la ilusión de cambiar el mundo trabajando en el sector público después de que en la Ciudad de México se logró tumbar al sistema que había, al PRI, y ahí todo un grupo de vecinos entramos con muchos anhelos a tratar de cambiar las cosas desde el sector público. No quiero decir que todo estuvo mal, pero en realidad pues uno se enfrenta a este monstruo, a este sistema que lo envuelve todo y que hace que sea muy difícil hacer los cambios profundos que queremos dentro del sistema. Así que después de unos años, cuando ya me di cuenta que por ahí no era el camino, pues dije, me salgo de ahí y me voy al tercer sector. Así que dejé pues, toda mi formación de abogado y decidí reinventarme y convertirme en un ojalatero socioambiental. Espero no haber con la palabra ojalatero metido en problemas a la traductora, pero bueno, esto me dio la oportunidad de reinventarme y así fundé una asociación civil que se llama La Cuadra, en donde varios amigos y vecinos empezamos a participar. ¿Por qué? Porque decidimos actuar en lo que podemos hacer frente a nosotros. Más allá de preocuparnos en temas muy grandes, ¿cómo podemos incidir en mejorar nuestras calles, nuestras banquetas, la salud de nuestros árboles, mejorar las jardineras, saber quiénes son los vecinos y vecinas que tenemos al lado, enfrente, a la vuelta, en este mundo individualizado con este gran egoísmo? Pues hemos perdido justamente ese contacto con la comunidad. Yo estoy convencido que este sistema industrial de consumo que nos tiene totalmente constreñidos, pues lo que ha hecho, sobre todo en esta última fase neoliberal, pues lo que ha hecho es disolver las comunidades. Las comunidades se convierten en un estorbo y por lo tanto todo es generar formas de éxito individualizado que no se permiten tejer con la comunidad. La Cuadra entonces empezó a trabajar en el espacio público como el gran escenario de actuación para poder hacer performance, para poder hacer arte, cultura. Empezamos a intervenir nuestras banquetas, empezamos a hacer guerrilla gardening, que de pronto arreglábamos una jardinera que estaba abandonada y al día siguiente la gente se despertaba y se daba cuenta que la jardinera ya estaba nuevamente bien. Entonces, esos factores de sorpresa, pues obviamente hicieron que poco a poco pudiéramos ir generando gente que se interesaba. El poder de la comunidad cuando se da cuenta que puede hacer cosas es algo increíble. En ese momento, pues ya teníamos una base ahí de gente. Había un terreno baldío, un terreno que curiosamente a mí me había tocado ir en 1985 a ayudar a retirar los escombros que el sismo del 85 había generado en la Ciudad de México y sobre todo en esa ciudad donde habitábamos. Y ahí se habían caído 2 edificios del multifamiliar Presidente Juárez. Y pues quién iba a decir que 27 años después íbamos a entrar a ese terreno, íbamos a ocupar, somos una ocupa comunitaria, íbamos a empezar a hacer un huerto, un área de composta, una casa de lo común, una cocina comunitaria y empezar a trabajar. Y lo que fue increíble fue la magia que se produjo ahí, porque de pronto empezamos a recibir a personas, vecinos, amigos, colectivos, organizaciones, y el huerto empezó a florecer. El tejido de la comunidad empezó a crecer. Entonces, hoy el huerto, Roma Verde, recibe más de 225,000 personas al año. Vinculamos con más de 380 organizaciones de la sociedad civil, colectivos, colectivas. Tenemos vínculo con las 10 universidades más importantes del país en distintos programas de servicio social y académicos. También trabajamos con instituciones de gobierno, pese a ser una ocupa, pues no les quedó de otra más que empezar a trabajar con nosotros. Y miren que el terreno es propiedad de una institución federal muy importante aquí en México que se llama el ISSSTE. Y pues cuando empezamos a limpiar el terreno, imagínense, 27 años de olvido, todo lo que había, basura, focos de inseguridad, de insalubridad, pero y obviamente una cantidad de plantas, en más del 80% del terreno no podías caminar, y lo fuimos limpiando. Y llegó un momento en que, pues ya saben, cuando es un terreno baldío, pues a nadie le importa, pero cuando empiezan a hacer, pues hay rumores de qué están haciendo. Y un día nos caen los abogados del ISSSTE. Nunca, la verdad, debo confesar que nunca nos trataron mal, pero sí había un tema de, pues, tienen que salirse. Y nosotros decíamos, está bien, nos salimos, pero ustedes tienen que hacer algo similar o mejor. No vamos a salirnos para que vuelva a ser un terreno baldío, porque si no, no tiene sentido. Un día nos llegan con que querían hacer un estacionamiento. Nosotros dijimos, pues menos, ¿no? Más en este mundo del cochismo, pues no queremos estar por ahí. Y llegó el día en que nos demandaron. Nos pidieron en un juicio que se tardó 1 año, 8 meses. ¿Qué les puedo decir? Emocionalmente todo el trajín era muy desgastante por toda la inseguridad, pero nosotros seguíamos avanzando. Un gran amigo me dijo un día cuando yo estaba muy preocupado, me dice, a ver, aquí hay de 2 sopas, o te paras o aceleras. Y decidimos acelerar. Y entonces el huerto, pues gracias justamente al poder de la comunidad, cuando ya teníamos la sentencia en contra y nosotros pues lanzamos en redes un auxilio, necesitamos apoyo, la cantidad de cartas que empezaron a llegar al ISSSTE, a la jefatura de gobierno, ya entonces Claudia Sheinbaum tenía poco tiempo de haber entrado como jefa de gobierno, y obviamente se paró el tema. Después vino la pandemia, eso también paró la cuestión. Pero bueno, el huerto ha sido hoy un espacio que se ha convertido en un referente de regeneración socioambiental en zonas urbanas. Primero nos habían dicho muchos permacultores, amigos queridos, me decían, Paco, ¿cómo vas a hacer permacultura en las ciudades? La permacultura se hace en los campos, y nosotros decíamos, no. Si nosotros entendemos que para el 2030 más del 80% de la población mundial vamos a vivir en ciudades, tenemos que empezar a trabajar en transicionar hacia ciudades sostenibles, hacia ciudades resilientes y regenerativas, y eso hemos empezado a hacer y ha sido muy exitoso lo que se ha hecho. Hemos logrado obtener premios y reconocimientos a nivel nacional e internacional, cosa que ha blindado al espacio. Entonces, en el huerto suceden conciertos de música, yoga, cine, teatro, danza, ceremonias de todos tipos. Trabajamos mucho con plantas de poder. Ahorita les voy a explicar por qué. Tenemos un restaurante que se llama Floresta Cocina Regenerativa, tenemos una cafetería, estamos construyendo un laboratorio de transformación de alimentos, un refrigerador persa. Tenemos varias ecotecnias. El huerto ya no genera, ya no saca al drenaje residuos, todo lo procesamos en biodigestores, tenemos sistemas de captación de agua. Queremos un día poder desconectarnos 100% de la red hídrica. Estamos trabajando con el tema energético. Ahí tenemos un problema porque la compañía de luz no nos ha querido dar contrato porque somos una ocupa. Entonces, pues ya sabrán todos los malabares que tenemos que hacer para poder tener luz, pero afortunadamente lo hemos conseguido. No les quiero decir cómo, pero lo hemos conseguido. Y además porque creemos que es un derecho. O sea, el acceso a la electricidad, el acceso a la energía es un derecho, así como el agua. Entonces, pues somos rebeldes, sí, efectivamente, pero el huerto se ha convertido, como les digo, en este espacio de convivencia, de comunidad, donde muchísimos proyectos se han inspirado. De hecho, como decía Derek, pues hemos también sido sede de múltiples congresos. Monotopía también ha estado ahí con nosotros ya 2 años en sus congresos. Nuestros amigos de We Are Not Zombies que están aquí también son parte fundamental de la comunidad del Huerto Roma Verde. Entonces, el espacio es un espacio vital, más de 450 actividades por año en las distintas espacios y salones que tiene el huerto. Viene algo que también a mí me inspiró muchísimo la plática anterior, porque pues mi hija es partera. Y pues también ahí hemos tenido un montón de convivencia con dulas, con parteras, y tenemos planes, ideas de hacer una casa de partería también en el Huerto Roma Verde. Entonces, algo que yo quiero mostrarles es un poco también en la plática de Derek de hace unos días, que él decía, ¿cómo podemos hacer comunidades con las flechas? A ver, espérame. Ya. Bueno, la verdad es que debí de haber puesto menos texto en mi presentación y más fotos, y además haberlo hecho en inglés. Una disculpa. Pero aquí quiero llegar a esto. Derek decía algo muy importante: ¿cómo podemos hacer comunidad? Hacer comunidad no es fácil porque tenemos que descolonizar mucho nuestro pensamiento. Vivimos en un sistema pues, vertical, autoritario, desde la familia hasta las escuelas, las instituciones. Entonces, salirnos de eso nos cuesta trabajo. Entonces, trabajamos nosotros con modelos también inspirados en la sociocracia, que a mí me gusta más el modelo que también se llama holocracia. No sé si lo han escuchado, pero también sería muy importante que lo revisen. Y ahí empezamos con muchos tropezones. Como siempre, nosotros empezamos de manera muy orgánica, muchos errores, corrección en todas las cosas que hacíamos. Fuimos el primer lugar en la Ciudad de México donde empezamos a construir con bambú y con tierra, porque además los reglamentos de construcción pues, no lo permiten. Entonces nosotros lo hicimos y hoy nuestra habitabilidad está mayoritariamente en eso. Entonces, inspirado en 3 pilares fundamentales, es lo que hemos construido nuestro marco filosófico, por así decirlo. Es primero el conocimiento de los pueblos originarios, el conocimiento profundo de los pueblos originarios. Ahí está una manantial de agua fresca para poder visionar hacia otra manera de construir la realidad. Después, la biología social. Hoy la biología, junto con el conocimiento intuitivo, estamos convencidos que son el gran cuestionador de este cambio de paradigma que es necesario que tengamos. Y el tercero, que ustedes conocen muy bien, pues es la herramienta de la permacultura. Entonces, cuando nosotros combinamos eso, generamos un proceso que le hemos denominado Hikuri regenerativo o sistema de bienestar común. Hikuri regenerativo basado en el peyote, en la planta de poder de los urráricas. Y ese es nuestro logo, que también está inspirado en la flor de la permacultura, que en vez de 7 pétalos tiene 7 gajos, y comenzamos con el primer gajo, que es organización social. Hoy estamos convencidos que necesitamos un nuevo pacto. Ya no podemos seguir con este pacto antropocéntrico, con este contrato social y esta Declaración Universal de los Derechos del Hombre. Tenemos que cambiar eso. El ser humano no es el centro del universo. Somos parte de un mundo multiespecie en donde para que podamos continuar con la trama de la vida, tenemos que darle su lugar a todas las especies que habitan el planeta. Entonces, este paradigma en el cual vivimos todavía es un paradigma que se denomina cartesiano, que es un paradigma analítico, deductivo, racional, vertical, autoritario, lineal, patriarcal. Ese paradigma es un paradigma que está ya en decadencia. Surge a finales del siglo XV y principios del XVI, quitando justamente al paradigma teocrático. Y obviamente hace cosas muy importantes. Toda la edad moderna, la edad contemporánea, muchos avances, sin duda alguna. La civilización occidental, por supuesto que ha generado cosas muy importantes, pero también el costo medioambiental ha sido altísimo. Nosotros hablamos entonces de que tiene que surgir un nuevo paradigma. Y ese paradigma nosotros lo denominamos paradigma geobiosistémico, porque la vida y la no vida va de la mano. Lo biótico y lo no biótico son necesarios para poder generar la realidad que vivimos. Y con esta visión sistémica, pues este paradigma, exacto, si pueden ver, es organización social, integración ambiental, salud esencial, habitabilidad sostenible, tecnologías adecuadas, economía biocomunitaria y cultura regenerativa. Cada uno de estos ejes, cuando trabajan de manera transversal, nosotros decimos que en el centro de la flor florece el bienestar común. Y tenemos, cada uno de estos ejes se despliega dentro del territorio del huerto. Tenemos áreas de salud esencial, tenemos tecnologías adecuadas, etcétera. Entonces, hemos sacado programas, tenemos el centro de reciclaje más integral del país, y eso lo sabemos porque somos parte de una red que se llama Ecolana, que mapea todos los centros de acopio y reciclaje que hay en México. Y nosotros somos los únicos locos que recogemos residuos no valorizables, es decir, residuos que no se pueden monetizar. Y los procesamos de manera adecuada a industrias que los reciben, sí, obviamente no nos pagan nada, pero los reciben. Y estamos procesando más de 40 toneladas al mes de residuos sólidos y más de 26,000 litros de residuos orgánicos. Con los residuos orgánicos, pues estamos haciendo composta, el 10% lo hacemos en el huerto y el 90% le llevamos a un terreno que tenemos en el sur de la ciudad, en Xochimilco. Y estamos con esa composta agroforestando, trabajando en la restitución de suelos, porque uno de los graves problemas que tenemos y que sí nos debería estar asustando es la pérdida de suelos vivos que estamos teniendo en el mundo. Entonces tenemos que entrarle en serio al tema de poder regenerar los suelos. Entonces tenemos un programa que se llama Pacto con la Tierra. Muchas gracias. Y en este programa de Pacto con la Tierra hacemos acciones climáticas, un poco porque la gente llega de veras, a mí me ha partido el corazón ver a muchísimos jóvenes que llegan pues desilusionados, deprimidos por el futuro que viene. Hay una fuerte depresión, una ecoansiedad verdaderamente grave. Entonces, pues obviamente que ahí se nos planteó el decir, pues para nosotros también nos pasa, pero pues tenemos que accionar, tenemos que trabajar. Y hemos hecho 4 acciones climáticas que tienen que ver con cómo podemos descontaminar a través de justamente todo el tema del reciclaje, cómo podemos generar temas de agroforestería, tenemos campañas de compostaje, enseñamos a la gente a hacer composta desde cuestiones pequeñas, pero también lo más importante, la acción que para nosotros es crucial, es cómo podemos hacer comunidad. El gran antídoto, digamos, para esta depresión y este crisis ambiental que estamos viviendo es lograr que todos y cada uno de las personas que estamos aquí empecemos a tejernos. Nosotros hablamos de que tenemos que hacer una red de gobernanza civilizacionaria, no civilizatoria, civilizacionaria, para ir hacia el micelio biosocial regenerativo. Por eso, la metáfora de los hongos y de la biología se vuelve muy importante. Y además así funcionan nuestras células. Cuando hablamos de la autopoiesis y la antipoiesis, que también están ahí en la gráfica, que quizás sería ya muy extenso platicarlos, pero estoy convencido de que vamos hacia eso, que podemos lograr voltear ahora sí que la tortilla de este sistema extractivista si actuamos de la mano comunitariamente. Comunidades conscientes y libres, como aquí se han planteado, es lo que estamos impulsando. Muchísimas gracias. Me dicen que hay una preguntas. ¿Sí? Claro. Bueno, pues tenemos Huerto Roma Verde. Pues estamos en las redes, todo Huerto Roma Verde, @Huerto Roma Verde, Facebook, pues ya saben, todas las redes. La página web, huertoromaverde.org, ahí también estamos.
Hola, mi pregunta es si conoces el trabajo de Hernán Asto, el peruano que está obteniendo electricidad a través de las plantas.
Sí, claro.
Y bueno, como estabas teniendo ese problema, pues quise mencionarlo por sí o por no.
Sí, no, totalmente. No recordaba el nombre de él, pero vi un video y es increíble lo que se está haciendo. Sí. ¿Alguien más? Bueno, ahí están pasando imágenes del huerto para que vean un poco pues, los espacios que hay, ¿no? Hemos construido con materiales reciclados y obviamente materiales naturales. Somos 100% autogestivos. Con todas las actividades que hacemos los fines de semana, los talleres, consultorías que damos, somos 100% autogestivos. Obviamente hemos aplicado algunas convocatorias, algunas las hemos ganado, otras no. Y ahí vamos, vivimos al día, pero la verdad cada vez mejor.
Paco, tuve la oportunidad de visitarte ahí en el Huerto Roma Verde hace unos meses. Para los que no han ido al huerto, que son estar en la Ciudad de México, es un lugar extraordinario. Yo fui a un evento, pero llegué temprano y me tomó 2 horas tratar de digerir lo que estaba pasando ahí. Y pregunté a una gente que estaba ahí, a Simón, dije, ¿quién es el gerente? Y me llevó con Paco. Se lo recomiendo de verdad. Le pregunté a Paco, tuvimos una reunión para promoverlos, apoyar lo que están haciendo, y le pregunté a Paco si había un lugar siquiera parecido en el país, ya no digamos en la Ciudad de México. Su respuesta es no, realmente no. Entonces, los que estén cerca o estén en la Ciudad de México, visiten este lugar, es extraordinario.
Sí, muchísimas gracias. La verdad es que hay muchos espacios que han empezado a surgir por todo el mundo. Hemos tenido la oportunidad de viajar a muchos lugares en Europa, en Estados Unidos, en Canadá, en América Latina, a visitar y a interconectarnos con otros, hacer este micelio de que hablábamos. La particularidad del huerto es la integralidad con la que pues habitan todos los espacios y las acciones. Eso es lo que lo hace singular y lo que ha sido motivo de estudio, y por lo cual pues voy a echar aquí una presumida. Nos acaban el año pasado el Green World City Award en Utrecht, Holanda, nos dio el primer lugar. Fuimos el único proyecto de México y el único proyecto que no venía, de más de 1,000 proyectos, quedamos dentro de los 21 finalistas en 7 categorías, ganamos nuestra categoría, que fue la categoría de cohesión social y comunidades inclusivas, y éramos el único proyecto de los 21 que no tenía dinero de gobierno. Entonces para nosotros sí fue algo pues muy...
Muchas gracias, Paco. Mucho aplauso. All right. Who's going to go visit? Who's going to go visit his place in Mexico City? Highly, highly encourage you. I fell in love with it the first time I got to visit, and it's actually because of our production team, the We Are Not Zombies crew, that we got connected to Paco and we're able to bring him here. So let's give another round of applause to the We Are Not Zombies production crew who's been doing amazing work this whole week. Keep the applause going for our interpreters in the back who've been making the translations happen in real time. You know, I don't know if you guys realize, but some of us, like myself, talk really fast, and they're able to keep up with us and do the translations, and we're so, so grateful for them. So we're going to roll into our next talk here. I'm really excited for this one as well because, like I said, today's all about building free and conscious communities. We're trying to provide you examples of communities that are already existing that you can go visit, whether it's Paco's and what he's doing in Mexico City. We're going to hear later from Hannah Maria and what she's doing in Finland. But right now, we're about to hear from another community here in Mexico that you can go visit that is looking for new members and is ready to receive your welcome. I'm excited because me and this brother just got connected over the last couple of years now, and I've been telling him, like, you need to come visit, you need to come see what we're doing here and share your message. And so today, he is going to do just that. So please give a big warm welcome to Gabriel Villarreal as he talks about the Pochil Eco Village. Come on up, brother.
La mayor cantidad de gente vive en lo que le llamamos la selva de concreto, es decir, es una selva de máquinas, de cables, de concreto, de carros y de todos los ruidos que eso genera y que crea cierto estrés. El proyecto va a ser una aldea, una comunidad, gente que respeta la naturaleza, gente meditativa, que pueda tener la posibilidad de estar más tiempo consigo mismos, una nueva dirección. La Riviera Maya es realmente un paraíso terrenal por la flora y fauna que tenemos, las playas hermosas, por los cenotes que son únicos en el mundo y por la cultura de los mayas. Estamos en una zona, en un vecindario sumamente privilegiado. Hay mucho sol, hay mucha agua, tenemos muchísima agua por debajo en el subsuelo, en los mantos acuíferos de los cenotes, las lluvias constantes, tierra muy fértil, las tierras están cargadas de nutrientes, selva alta, frutas, huertos y todo lo que se necesita para poder subsistir en una manera armoniosa con la naturaleza.
El cenote es una cosa espectacular. Imagínate que tienes 2 agujeros en la tierra, en medio un árbol, increíble que las raíces del árbol te llevan al cenote aproximadamente unos 15 metros de altura. Es circular, es una bóveda aproximadamente entre 50 y 60 metros de diámetro. Mi hermano y yo nos gusta bajar por las raíces. Lo más bello que he vivido en toda mi vida es estar dentro de este cenote. Es una joya que estamos por descubrir.
Nuestra intención es hacer este tipo de desarrollos ecológicos, respetar y cuidar la naturaleza, teniendo un alto porcentaje de conservación. Vivir aquí en una habitación de una vivienda ecológica de este tipo te da una armonía y una paz interna. Levantarte ante los sonidos de los pájaros por la mañana, te sientes más fresco, te sientes más feliz, te sientes menos estresado. Tiene muchísimos beneficios este estilo de vida. Vale la pena conocer ese tipo de experiencia y eso es lo que nos estamos ofreciendo dentro de nuestra Ecoaldea Pochil.
Queremos compartir esta experiencia con el público en general, con la gente. Para eso estamos creando una comunidad. Darle la oportunidad a la gente de convivir en armonía en una comunidad con un cenote no tiene precio.
Gracias. Thank you very much. Good morning to everyone. My name is Gabriel Villarreal. I'm going to give you a quick introduction because I don't have so much time, only 35 minutes to get my message across. So in order for everyone here to come and join and invest your resources from Canada, Europe, United States, Germany, wherever you come from, it's very important, extremely important, my friends, that you get to know who the leader or the owner of the project is, okay? But before we start, I want for everyone to stand up so that we get some energy going in the room, please, my friends. And let's just like move a little bit, my friends. Oh, let's make some noise! Woo! Okay, now we can sit down. Thank you very much. I've always wanted to do this. I'm not a DJ, and just I think it's just funny to break the ice this way. So my name is. Thank you, my friends. I am Mexican. I speak English because I've been speaking English since I was a little kid. I come from Colegio Americano de Monterrey. I was born and raised in the north of Mexico, a city called Monterrey, very close to Texas. Okay, and I started in Tecnológico de Monterrey. Everyone, Mexican people know which is Tecnológico de Monterrey, which is a very good university. And then I had a very brilliant idea because I come from a conservative family. I'm giving you a little brief introduction so that you know who is the leader of this eco community. And our community, I'm gonna explain the legality and the legal framework and marketing and everything. So I'm gonna try to make it very quick because I only have a few minutes and there's 2 more videos that I want to share with you. I took a very important decision when I was after university, and this was, since I come from a conservative family, I decided to go to Europe. It's very important for Mexican people to travel abroad. And I got accepted in the Harvard of the Scandinavian countries. It's the Royal Institute of Technology. That's where I took my master's. My master's degree is in real estate, finance, and economics. I am a hardcore prepper, an entrepreneur in my blood. I've been doing my first business was when I was 12 years old. I was buying and selling Nintendo video games, and I made a good money. And when I come with full bags of money, I always try to skip my tax authority, which was my father. My father, he was a tax authority, and so I had to go because otherwise, oh, Gabo, what you doing? Why you have so much money in your pockets? So come here. I was 12 years old, my friends. Yeah, so I've been doing this business in my mind, and so I love it. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a businessman and big-time prepper. In 2007, my international friends living in Miami they asked me to find some land with water because, as you all know, the next commodity in the world is going to be the precious H2O, water. It's very, 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 very important that when you are planning on buying real estate or land or joining any community in Mexico, Europe, Asia, wherever you want to join your community, it's very important that you have water, okay? And in the middle of my presentation, I'm gonna show you a detailed video of the amount of water we have in our property, okay? Everyone knows about cenotes or sinkholes in Mexico. 20 years, I'll give you a quick recap about the cenotes. When I first landed in the Riviera Maya, now I moved to Yucatan to my community, but when I was living in Riviera Maya, there's many cenotes around Playa del Carmen, Tulum, Akumal, and so forth. And I was paying about $2 or $3 to enter one cenote and swim for maybe 1 or 2 hours. And now the prices for jumping and with your family for 1 or 2 hours in any given cenote has jumped like 10x. Now with $2 or $3, you're not allowed because it's like $20 or $25. So in our community, one of our main amenities is we own a cenote. So imagine yourself, like having a coffee with your neighbors, with your family, with your loved ones, with your friends, and then hey guys, let's go to my private swimming pool. And it's like the swimming pool that I'm going to show you in a little while. It's like imagine owning your own swimming pool with roof on top and Olympic. It's about 50 meters in diameter. So it's pretty impressive. And I really recommend that everyone here has this experience of swimming in cenotes. You can dive, you can do many recreational activities. Okay, so I'm gonna start quickly sharing with you. I didn't want to do a PDF slide because I think that looking back and forth, sometimes we lose concentration on the important, and my words will show you what's important. So the location of our community, I'm gonna tell you precisely how to get there. Okay, so you fly from Europe or from America or Mexico City, you fly to Cancun. Okay, that is our closest international airport. You fly to Cancun, or we just recently, 1 year ago, we have another international airport, which is Tulum. Okay, you can fly to Tulum or Cancun. I recommend Cancun because there's more traffic flow, so the prices are lower. If you fly to Tulum, it's a little bit more expensive. Okay, let's say Cancun, from Cancun, it's about a 2-hour drive. Okay, heading towards Chichen Itza. If people here are aware of the Yucatan map, so from Cancun, you're driving towards Valladolid in the state of Yucatan, because Cancun is Quintana Roo. Okay, so the location, it's prime location. Remember, real estate, location. You must, whenever you buy real estate, location is very, very important. So we are in the heart of the Mayan Peninsula. We have 45-minute drive to Tulum, 1.5-hour drive Playa del Carmen, 2-hour drive Cancun, 1 hour Chichen Itza, 45 minutes Cobá, the pyramids of Cobá, and so forth. Okay, another very important subject that I need to speak about when you are considering investing in real estate is public escritura, escritura pública. Okay, everyone knows what is a public escritura, right? It's a property title, because in Mexico we have different legal frameworks when you buy land. The number one, which I recommend, and it's the only legal way you can buy as a foreigner, is through public escritura. The second one is ejido land, or communal land, which is a group of farmers, Mexican farmers, that get together and they go to the public registry, to the agrarian registry in Mexico City, and then they ask the government for 1,000 hectares, and then they start growing the land. Okay, but in Tulum and Playa del Carmen, the land value rose so dramatically that instead of the farmers working the land, they started selling the land, and many farmers became millionaires. And what they do with the land is, with the money, is they buy big trucks and they spend it on crazy things. So escritura pública is very important. Many people ask me what's the size of my project, and when this kind of information, whenever you are really interested in learning more about my project, I will give you full details in person. Okay, so basically the land is big enough to have 2-3 times as many people from this audience. Okay, because everyone has money, right? Everyone has money, my friends. Yes, I see. Everyone has money. Yes, of course, because everyone is working. Everyone needs money and has money. So in our community, if you have money, or if the member, the prospect has money, it has nothing to do with my projects, okay? Because money is not what we're focused on. We're focused on feelings, on emotions. We're focused on having the same level of consciousness. Because you know that if I have one rotten apple in my community, then distress can happen, and problems. And how I solve problems, I'm going to share this very small story with you, like how I deal with problems, with problem solving is very simple. In my community, when there's arguments and trouble and problems, the way I deal with this is I am very spiritual man. You know, I follow certain leaders like Siddhartha. Everyone knows Siddhartha, right? Buddha. You can follow any other leader, right? So Siddhartha, my mentor, he told me, Gabo, when you have difficulties in your community, okay, the best way to solve these problems is, what would Buddha do in this case? Let's say there's an argument. Let's say there's a fight. Oh, I don't want the house to be there. I prefer to put it over here, and this and that, and arguments, and people, because to put two minds in place, it's a difficult thing. So you can imagine putting 20 ideas. It's quite challenging. So the way I deal with problem solving is very simple. What would Siddhartha, my mentor, my spiritual guide, would do in this case, Gabriel? You know? So I recommend that you take this approach in life. What would Siddhartha or Mahoma or Jesus or whoever you are interested as a spiritual leader? Okay, I'm going to talk about surveillance. It's very important. One of the questions many of my clients ask me is, Gabo, is it secure? Is your land safe? Are we having good people, and are they going to steal the wood? Because many farmers, they come at night and they cut the wood, and then you lose your wood and stuff like this. So my business partner and I, we wrote, we have the exclusive rights for selling a very innovative drone surveillance bee, we call it. So let's say you have this big piece of land. Let's say this is a square. So we program this bee or drone, okay, to give the surveillance on its own. So let's say this is the square of the whole land. So let's say that we're gonna start here, okay? So the drone, the bee, is gonna, and we can program to fly 20 meters or 30 meters, and then it's gonna be moving like this, and then like that, come here, come back, and then station. And all of these drone images are live. And if there is someone who's been cutting wood, I have him recorded, and this is hard evidence that I can take to the police station, and then the police will take care of whatever is happening. So it's very important security. We're gonna have the best surveillance, drone surveillance in whole Mexico. Let me check. Oh boy, 15 minutes already. So I will speak quickly about tourism. Tourism is growing so big in the Yucatan Peninsula. It's unbelievable. So everyone, when people come to Mexico, they're thinking about going to the beach, and then they're going now to explore more nature, because many people are looking into nature, which is very important. And then they call me, Gabo, can I come see your property? Because we want to swim in your cenote and so forth. So tourism is big. Okay, so my friend, can we show the next video, please? Thank you. Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias. Thank you very much. So I'm going to ask a quick question. Who would love to live in a place, in a community with abundance of water? Because, thank you, my friends, me too. Yeah, because it's very important that water is life. We are water, right? So in this cenote, this is not actually where we're taking the water for every property, because when you buy a property, the land size that that I sell is about, well, it's not about, it's exactly 1,000 square meters. So every property has its own hole to the ground, and that's where we take the water. So we have we will never finish the water. Now I'm going to talk about the most important of my speech. What makes us different than any other business or any other real estate project or any other eco-village. This is the most important, my friends. That's why I left it for the middle, because this is the most important. I've been speaking to my mother. I know my mother has money because she inherited a very big, beautiful house in San Pedro Garza Garcia. People who are from Mexico, they know that San Pedro Garza Garcia, that's where all the money from Mexico is concentrated, San Pedro Garza Garcia. So she inherited a big house in Monterrey. But when I speak to my mother, she's always kind of complaining that, oh, Gabo, I'm a little bit, I don't have money. And I know she has money, but she's always a little bit complaining that she don't have money. So then because I am a problem solver. This is my life. I can identify certain problems. Then I'm thinking, how can I give my mother a solution? Or how can I give the audience a solution? Or how can I give the humanity a solution? So it's very simple. Sometimes we think too much, but the answers is here in your nose, but we don't see it. Many times this happens. It happened to me for many years. So I want for everyone in the audience and everyone in Europe or wherever you're watching me to change the mindset. In my community, when you are around me, you should never fear running out of money. How, Gabo? What do you mean? Everyone has the same fears. How? Please show me how. So it's very simple, my friends. After long meditations and after a lot of thinking and more thinking and meditation, and I am now 49 years old, I'm not a teenager anymore. So it's been a long journey to have these kind of solutions, So when you invest in my project, you buy 1,000 square meters, 20 meters by 50, 1,000 square meters, okay? So we get together with the client, and the client, myself, and my team of architects, okay? And we're going to design each and every one of your properties in a certain way that you can live in the property, but also you're gonna be receiving rental income. But how, Gabo? What do you mean? I'm gonna be receiving $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 a month. That's incredible. How? Show me. So we're gonna design in a specific way. Your property is not mine. You're inside my community, but it's your property with your escritura. We're gonna design it in a certain way that because I am the admin of the whole project, okay? And we're gonna have a rental pool, okay? So every time I host a holistic event, an ayahuasca event, corporate event, quinceañeros, or birthdays or like this. So they're gonna come maybe 30 people from Europe, or maybe 40 people from America, or maybe 50 people from Canada. Okay, so we're gonna be renting out your space and my space. Right now, when you come visit me in Yucatan, okay, my project is not a vision, is not something that I'm gonna be doing in the next year or in the next 5 years. It's something real. You come, you make by appointment only, you call me, you send me what's up, we meet, and then I take you. Okay, this is the process when you come and visit me. The marketing we do is a word of mouth. Okay, so when you do word of mouth, is very private, okay? So you will never see my Who has seen École de Pochil posted on social media? Nobody. Nobody, because I keep it very family oriented. The two owners of this project is my brother and I. We don't do social media. The only social media we do is for our clients. We are not paying advertising for other people to know, because we can get some rotten apples. So the mindset, my friends, okay? So you will be making money, because when we invest, oh, Gabo, my bank is running short. All the time I need to send money. Well, of course, my friends, we need to invest money. We need to give some resources to get money back. That's obvious. So through rental income, you will be receiving $500, $1,000, $5,000, whatever money is in that month. Okay. The second, when you, let's say, Michael comes from Germany, Daniel comes from Germany, and he's like inviting his parents, his siblings, his friends from Germany, and they stay at his beautiful house, and they, oh, Daniel, oh man, I had so much fun this week in your property in Eco Village, Pochil Eco Village. It's amazing. I'm having such a good time, and so forth. So they also want to join, because remember, the marketing is word of mouth, right? So Daniel's friends are gonna say, hey, I want also to be part of this movement, of this community. So what do I do? And Daniel is gonna talk to Michael and his friends, and then they're gonna make an appointment with me. Hey, Gabo, so what's happening? Can I join your community? And I said, yeah. Well, these are the prices, and it's going to take about 9 to 12 months to build the whole property and so forth. So we signed contracts, and guess what's going to happen to Daniel? Because remember that money is an exchange of energy. That's all money is. It's only an energy. So we always have to give and take, because that way the money, that give and take is equal to abundance, abundancia. Dar y recibir. So that's the second way you're gonna be making money. So let's say you bring your friends and 3 of them buy, you will be making like about 20 grand commission. Just one day that you brought, and you're not even doing social media. You're only inviting your friends, but they also want to be part of what you're doing, because it's a legacy. It's incredible. So this is a second way of making money. The third way is, I am a crypto guru. I am a crypto enthusiast. Remember, I'm a businessman, and I love crypto. My portfolio is very sad right now. One of my Maxi wallet is very, very sad, about minus 72%. It's a red line. I'm a little sad, but always remember, my friends, that we need to have a mixed and balanced portfolio. So the third way of making money is very simple. I'm going to be teaching for free to the family members, community members, sorry. I'm going to be teaching how to make money through the crypto space for free. Anyone who is outside the community, there's a fee, okay? Only it's exclusive for my members. I will be teaching them everything that has to do with DeFi, decentralized financing, staking, and so forth. Okay, the next way to make money is, we own a business startup incubator. So let's say, what's your name, ma'am? ¿Cómo? Petty. Let's say, and what do you do as a business for money? Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. So Petty is a psychologist, and she needs more revenue, right? Because everyone needs more revenue. So she comes to us, and we are going to create through technology, through a website, through marketing skills. We have a very specialized and important team that is gonna give you revenue, at least from 25 to 50% more revenue through our startup incubator. So this is very important, my friends. And the last way you're gonna be making money is on your own craft, okay? Daniel, what do you do for a living, amigo? Oh, wonderful. So exactly. Thank you, Daniel. So Daniel is going to be that's your fifth revenue income. Okay. So this is the mindset, and people might think, oh, Gabo, well, you are the leader. You're making the good money. Well, yeah, I'm making the good money because remember, I don't know where I read this, but if you want to have abundance, if you want to be really successful in life and financially, my friends, remember what I'm going to say right now. You must create your own system. Deben de crear su propio sistema. It doesn't matter what system it is, but it's very, very extremely important you create your own system. Deben todos de aquí presentes y los que me están escuchando en la televisión, deben de crear su propio sistema. Y cuando tú creas when you create your own system, you're going to have abundance, my friends. It's very important. So it's a win-win scenario here in my community because, yes, of course, I have my own system. And yes, of course, I make money because remember what I told you in the intro. I'm a businessman. I'm a hardcore entrepreneur and prepper. You see me dressed like this. Oh, Gabo is wearing a skirt. What's going on with this guy, right? Yeah, well, it's not a skirt. Yeah, this clothes is unisex. I don't care. And I actually designed these clothes. And yeah, if people say it's a skirt, well, yeah, well, whatever. I don't mind because I know who I am, and and like this, So, and we have these you can buy them online. It's called Capui. The name of my brand is called Capui, because every time I am traveling the world, and I recommend you do the same. There's always opportunities, my friends, always. But we're not looking. But you need to have the feeling. You need to smell. All the opportunities are here, in front of us, your nose. That's why I have a long nose, right? Maybe I don't know. Maybe that's why I make a little extra money. So let me check my time, amigos. Oh my goodness. Oh, I can talk forever, my friends. You know that I love talking. It's in my blood. My father was a big talker. And yes, everyone who comes on stage gets a little nervous because it's just normal. And so now I'm going to show you my last video, okay, so that everyone you can get in the picture and you can see real people. It's not only a projection, because to write businesses on paper and being creative is quite easy. Anyone can do it. But taking this paper into reality, it's a tough job, my friends. It's a very tough job. And to create a community, a successful community, and I've been congratulated by many people that I met through life, and they tell me, Gabo, it's impressive because like about more than 95% of the eco villages have failed. And before I present my last video and wrap up my presentation, I want to tell you that in order to make a successful business or a successful eco-village, the most important is to have efficient communication. Comunicación eficiente, super important. It's not the same that I tell you I am wearing black clothes, then I am wearing a black skirt, a black some amber chains and this and that, and so we have to be very specific. It's very important to have efficient communication, my friends. This is the second tip I give you today. My name is Gabriel. My mother gave me this name because she says that I am the messenger. And today I feel blessed that Derek and his staff invited me, and I can speak my words of wisdom and my words of knowledge to this very beautiful crowd. I am very happy to meet all of you, and I am also very happy that I've met some of you from the audience. We met in my previous presentation 2 years ago in Acapulco, so now I have a better feeling that this is a real movement moving forward, my friends. So I want to share, before I finish my presentation, I want to share the last video of real community people that you're going to see. Thank you, everyone. Muchas gracias. So I just want to say my last words. I only have a few seconds left. The invitation for my eco village is open for everyone. We don't have a discrimination for nobody. Okay, if you are vegetarian or if you eat meat, personally, I don't care. Okay, and I am the owner. So the way that it works is through feeling, through connection, through our hearts. Okay, this is very important. I don't care if you eat, if you only drink water or if you drink lemonade. Doesn't matter for me. I don't care if you're from Europe or from North America, Mexico. Doesn't matter. We are all humans living a spiritual experience. So my last words, my friends, let's help each other to co-create our beautiful eco-village. Okay, muchas gracias. Thank you very much, my friends. Derek, I love you, my brother, and I am very grateful that Derek, I'm gonna steal 1 more minute very quick. The way that Derek and we got in contact was through a Vice documentary that was shown, what was showcased a few years ago. And Derek, he spoke really nice. They interviewed him because of Acapulco, right? Yeah, and then the Vice team from New York, they came to my property, to Ecolda Pochil, and they interviewed my brother and I. And then after this Acapulco Vice documentary, Derek and we got in contact and we started more than 2 years ago texting on Telegram. And I am very blessed and happy to meet you personally, physically, brother. And thank you very much, brother. I hope you invite me again. Thank you. Gracias.
Yes, make some more noise for Gabriel, doing so much great work. What he didn't mention was that the Vice, it was a Vice episode about what's going on during Mexico, and it was during COVID 1984. And a lot of you guys know that we were helping people come down to Mexico from the States and elsewhere. And the Vice video was basically making fun of us and making us, as if we were crazy and whatever else. So it is what it is. All right, so let's move on. This is going to be our final presentation before we move to lunch. You guys enjoying yourselves so far? You getting excited? Great. So we talked about home birthing this morning. We talked to Paco and about the beautiful work he's doing in Mexico City. Gabriel just shared about what they're doing in the Yucatan. And now we're going to take it to the other side of the ocean, and we're going to hear from a returning speaker who was here 2 years ago. Who was here when we were at the Teatro Morelos when Henna gave an amazing speech there a couple years ago? Some of you were there? Awesome. And I'm sure some of you at home have seen that. Well, we're so grateful to have her back here, gracing us with her presence and her knowledge and her wisdom. And she's going to be today sharing some of that wisdom from her home country and the work she's doing out there. And I hope you guys will give her your full attention in just a moment, because I want to bring my brother Grant up here really quickly, really briefly. I want to say one thing first off. Grant is an amazing friend and performer. Who has seen him perform this week? Presence, yes, make some noise for him. And one of the lovely things about our community that I've seen so far is that people have lost several things, including wallets with lots of money, and it's all come back so far. And now we need that. Yes, make some noise for that. It's been really beautiful. And that's kind of what we expect and see in our community. But now we have one more missing item, and we really are hoping and praying it will come back to us. That's it right there. We need it right there. This is the case for it. So we don't have the picture we can show on screen.
Yeah, it's a DJI Osmo Pocket 3, and we've been filming. We have like 3 music videos shot on here, all from this week. We have like my entire set from the other night, which thank you so much for making that such a special experience. And so it's less about the actual device itself. That's replaceable, but the footage, man, like it's really heartbreaking if that footage is lost. So I'm really still holding the frequency that we're going to track this device back, and it's going to come back. So if everybody could hold that prayer, and if you see it and return it to me, I'm going to give somebody 1 full Monero if somebody can return it to me. So
thank you guys. It was last seen here at the concert. Yeah, at the concert, we were filming with it. So we're going to move on now, but if you have any information, please do see Grant or bring it to the registration table at the front. If you happen to come across it, we'd be really grateful for that. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hear from Henna Maria and all the wonderful things she's doing. Please give her a warm, warm welcome.
Hi, everyone. So good to be here again. Thank you for co-creating this beautiful gathering. I'm honored to be speaking here today. My name is Henna Maria. I am runonlaulaja, medicine woman, activist, and teacher of natural law. My work is to journey between worlds and build bridges. The title of my speech today is Cultural Revival, Humanity's Last Chance. These are some grave words, but to me they describe accurately where we are at the precipice of an irrecoverable transition. If we continue at this rate towards transhumanism and digitalization of all aspects of our lives, we will lose the soul of humanity. The sacred original human being will become extinct. Ask yourself, when is the last time that you have woken up with your body completely buzzing with energy? Every molecule of your being just bursting with vitality. Your eyes in absolute awe of this living, trillion color display in front of you. Hungry to explore this immense creation surrounding you. Your feet excited to pick you up and carry you anywhere where your heart desires. Your lungs eager to fill you up with tremendous life force, bringing your mind clarity, your spirit peace, and your body strength. Your heart beating with ease, directing the flow of life inside your veins like a miraculous symphony orchestra conductor, creating a miraculous rhythm, the music that makes us and keeps us alive. Your whole being just radiating with joy and gratitude for having woken up to its magical existence. This is the living organism that we are, the marvelous being, human being. So why then most of us nearly never feel this way? Somehow we've been made to believe that it's normal for our bodies to be tired, our minds uninspired, and our spirits low. We have descended into a zoo human being. It is a long road how we have ended up here. Where it all began, I cannot say, but I can name some of the elements that have taken us here. It begins with the family. What was done to our families? We were broken apart. Kinship and trust was destroyed amongst us. Through unnatural and violent means, humans began to dominate each other and dominate the creation. Clusters of self-sovereign villages were turned into larger and larger cities under the guise of development and efficiency. Suddenly, nothing was enough. No longer was it possible to live off the land, for land was taken away from people. Fathers were taken away from home into battlefields and plantations. Rivers of blood polluted our beloved earth, and our eyes became stained with images of war. Sickness and poverty ensued, and generational trauma took hold of the bloodlines. Factories and industries were born, and the Tower of Babel was erected. Later, mothers also were driven away from home and lost their children into the hands of strangers, as the wages of one parent no longer covered the cost of living. Wherein once lived a sacred space, a family union, Now sits a foreign invader, a creature without flesh or blood, a faceless institution which everyone is bound to from birth. Government. Separated from our lands, from our communities, from our families, we are an animal in captivity. An artificial habitat has been constructed around us, and we have lost our vital connection to the earth. So much so that many of us don't even know that we live in a cage, that there is another way. Us modern zoo humans have lost most senses and skills required to actually live in our natural habitat. From how to build a dwelling to how to cut a tree or make a fire, how to sense danger or read the weather, how to weave fabric or sew clothes, how to forage plants and mushrooms, how to make our own medicine, how to raise our children or build a community. The truth is, we don't know how to live. We have lost the art of living. There's a spiritual sickness that has inflicted humanity, a dark force. Some call it Wetiko, others call it Satan. Others describe it as the fall of consciousness. Others speak of spiritual egregores created by men, which have gained their own demonic agency and form. I call it the insatiable spirit, an unquenchable thirst, a force which knows no boundaries, which in its unbridled madness wants to devour everything. You can see this spirit expressing itself in humanity as the never-ending quest, the never-ending race, the never-ending need. Because it has no body of its own, it needs our physical vessels to enact its desires. Because it has no mouth of its own, it uses our words to soil our tongues and invert the creative word into a destructive word. I'm under no illusion of the magnitude and scope of this sickness. It has completely infiltrated our species and every aspect of our societies. But I am not here to tell you that story. In my heart, I know that you all know that story. I'm here to share with you a story of returning home, a prayer to evoke the original human being back to life. So this is not a journey of evolution. This is a journey of remembrance. We are here to revive something which is already within us, which has already lived and thrived on this earth. One of the beautiful qualities of the original human being is that we are relational beings. In contrast to the modern way, the original human being did not grow separate from his family to pursue his individual goals. He came to flourish thanks to the people around him, guiding him, teaching him, loving him. And he grew in continuum with the wisdom and grace of his ancestors. We are tremendously malleable, so the human influence from our birth community and culture dictates largely what kind of characteristics are brought forth from the potential of our soul. Whichever kind of ingredients we have as a foundation will develop our soul a certain way. This is not random. This is the law of cause and effect. This is why the social engineers of our time have very carefully stripped away certain elements, because they know what it will result into. When you leach out certain minerals from the soil, the plants will not grow to be as strong. The same is true for us human beings. When you deprive a human soul of the ingredients that nourish it, it will grow spiritually weak and malnourished. Spiritual elements that culture a soul are things like folklore that teach you the living lore of the creation, poetry, art, and music, which inspire the soul, clothing that honors and celebrates the gift of life, architecture which tunes our frequencies, relationships that nourish the heart. These elements inform the growing soul and mold it accordingly. The more these things are either completely removed or replaced with stories of selfishness that drive us further away from harmony with the creation, poetry and art that distorts the soul, music that is generated by AI, clothing devoid of color and joy, relationships which break the heart, the further apart we develop from the original human being. The more technology we consume, the more machine-minded we become. The more we consume bite-sized, short-form information, the shorter our attention span gets. And the more we multitask, the more fragmented our consciousness becomes. You see where I'm going with this? There are many ways to bring into reality the transhumanist agenda. There are many ways to become a cyborg, not just by inserting microchips under our skin. It is the culturing of the soul that is the most crucial mission to us, since the life of a soul is spanning over multiple incarnations. However we spiritually grow or devolve in this lifetime will also govern the destination of our next incarnation. By the influence and power of culture, entire generations of souls can spiritually devolve or rise up. This is why there is such a systemic attempt to destroy all indigenous culture and replace it with a sterile one-world government. It is an attempt to completely desoul and degenerate humanity. In addition, energetic and physical influences like our bloodline, frequency of our environment, quality of our terrain, purity of our water, air, food, soil, and climate inform and build the energetic, emotional, physical body. These influences dictate what kind of a temple we are building to house our soul. And if the vessel is not built well, there are certain elements of the soul which cannot be expressed. Some argue that this is the real purpose of vaccines, that its intended mechanism of action is to be a spiritual weapon. Hinder the temple, disable the soul. So to summarize, there are two different ways we are being malnourished, impoverished, degraded, demoralized, and dehumanized today. Through the culture, which molds the soul, and through the physical and energetic influences which build the body. Since our modern culture has been stripped from nearly all elements which actually facilitate the growth of a soul from infancy to spiritual maturity, there is hardly any true culture left in the West. But when we understand the law of cause and effect, we can begin to change the cause. In the Gospel of Thomas, verse 70, Yeshua the Christ says, "If you bring forth what is within you will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you." Yeah. This is a master key. This is a golden key to healing humanity. It works in two ways. Firstly, if we do not bring forth the reality of our condition, this slavery will destroy us. If we do bring forth the oppression, it can finally be addressed, and this liberation will save us. And simultaneously, If we do not bring forth our soul's calling, our true nature, this unfulfilled potential will eat us alive and destroy us. But if we do bring forth our purpose, our mission that has brought us here, this joy will save us. This, my friends, is why we are here today. This is an activation. We are here to create another cause which will inevitably bring into motion another effect, a healing, restorative effect. This is law. So let's now contemplate the causative agent, which all of you are, the activist. First of all, the activist represents the archetype of the modern warrior. By this, I don't mean someone who is instigating or waging war, but someone who is willing to stand up for what is right, even in the face of tyranny. The warrior in the indigenous culture is someone who protects the innocent, and especially those who cannot stand up for themselves, including the plant and animal kingdom, the water and the earth. I have a mantra which I hold at the center of my work: to serve the sacred, to protect the sacred, to revive the sacred. In the cosmovision of the free peoples of this earth, all is alive and all life is sacred, whether human or animal, born or unborn, wanted or unwanted. The indigenous recognize that every form of life has its unique purpose here on earth, embodying a teaching, a medicine. By communing with the trees, the animals, the elements, the warrior perfects his senses. Every one of our 5 senses has a higher spiritual dimension to it also. We know of clairvoyance and clairsentience. However, these are not supernatural gifts in a sense that these abilities are only available for a select few. These are supernatural gifts, meaning that they are inherent and natural to us as human beings. Yeah. So to develop the eyesight of the eagle and the heart of the hummingbird, the warrior consciously connects and communes with Mama Earth, with nature. This is what is asked of the activist: the ability to cultivate wisdom in a time of conflict, to rise above the base reactionary state of consciousness and meet your adversary with humanity. Many a battle has been avoided by sharing the peace pipe. So we are called to do everything we can to remedy the situation with compassion, dignity, and fairness. But if the enemy has no respect, is blind to brotherhood and deaf to reason, creating chaos and mercilessly destroying all life, the warrior does not hesitate to pick up their spear of truth and their shield of faith and say, "You take me first." The warrior is willing to lay down their life to protect their sacred culture, as he knows how precious is the heritage of his ancestors, how there is no price too high for freedom. Let us remember now that the enemy is not a legion of bloodthirsty brutes, but a mentality, a worldview, transhumanism. It is the attempt to totally sever us from nature and thus from our inner nature. The battlefield is in the minds and hearts of humanity. Secondly, the activist also represents the archetype of the healer, taking the knowledge of healing the individual to healing the community. This requires clarity of vision and proper diagnosis. Without comprehending the roots of our collective malady, we cannot apply the correct remedy. I see that the core issue is loss of knowledge of self and life, loss of knowledge of God. We have religions to fill our minds with dogma when the native people do not need belief. They know the divine creator intimately. They do not need Bibles, as nature to them is the living Bible, containing the living word of the living God to living men. Without remembering our true nature, our divine origin, we are orphaned and disconnected from the spiritual source which nourishes our souls and blesses our lives. This void, this emptiness, drives us to act from a place of desperation as we suffer the trauma of the great abandonment, the disconnection from our true father and true mother. In this blindness, we fumble around in the dark, seeking spiritual fulfillment from places where it is impossible to find. And the more we consume that which is hollow, the further our hearts erode into depression. Our cultures, our modern cultures, are a manifestation of this cosmic trauma. From the desperate attempt to find meaning, we have become insatiable, devouring all of Mother Earth's precious beings, draining her lifeblood and cutting down the evergreen garden. As our eyes have become defiled with images of horror, we struggle to recognize true beauty or the true nature of reality. And thus, we become deceived by the mirage of artificiality, living our lives behind screens, saturating our minds with the never-ending feed, extracting virtual content from every precious, fleeting moment, not realizing that this fortress of data becomes our own prison, further separating us from the Great Spirit. So, how to heal a society that has fallen? Through the knowledge and practice of natural law, bringing back the principles of morality and sacred harmony. According to natural law teacher Mark Passio, the law of freedom states, the more moral a society becomes, the more free it becomes also. For only immoral people require a violent control system, a government. The more conflicted we are in our values and actions, the more conflict we create in the external world in turn. This is the law of correspondence. Reality is an aggregate manifestation. Therefore, every effect which is observable collectively has also required a collective causality. But rather than staying as an internal victim, suffering the painful effects of our immoral acts, the activist seeks to become the cause, the positive cause which will set in motion a process of healing, a process of reconciliation. The healer, the activist, must become a master of the principle of polarity, knowing that all extremes can be reconciled, that all polarities can be brought into an equilibrium. If the effect is dehumanization, the remedy must be rehumanization. If the effect is demoralization, the remedy must be remoralization. In order to inspire this healing in our fellow sisters and brothers, we must first begin the healing within ourselves. Only from lived experience can we emanate the energetic signature of spiritual alchemy, how we ourselves have turned lead into gold, our traumas into wisdom. This is how we spark up the cultural revival, through inner transformation which will resonate and inspire the hearts of our fellow human beings. However, the activists cannot reach far alone. To create a significant shift in reality, we need a collective. We need community. Now, I want to acknowledge that some may not like this term so much. Community, what is that? Does it remind you of communism, communitarianism, or loss of individual rights, or perhaps intense shared living, personal drama, money problems, incessant drug use, infidelity, and bad personal hygiene. I myself wasn't always fond of this term, I have to say. I've been a fiercely self-directed soul ever since I was a little girl. And I was averse to the idea of community because the individualistic culture in Finland, where I was born, had made community feel like a restrictive control system or a religious cult, which I definitely wanted to live outside of. Pop culture and Hollywood worked their magic also and influenced me to believe that community means escaping reality into a utopian adult playground where nobody takes responsibility, when in fact it's the opposite, as we know. But perhaps some of you in the audience can resonate with this. It is these spells of individual glory and conjured up fears about communities that are keeping us from coming together. It wasn't until I moved to the Amazon rainforest that I began to experience what a healthy community can mean. Support, growth, love, the gift of belonging and rhythm. Social structures and systems which can build a foundation which allows us to actually express our gifts in a much more sustainable way. Mirrors which give authentic feedback and keep us humble. I also came to realize that communities equal indigenous societies. And they are the perfect, time-tested, natural way for humanity to organize. I see that individualism is a tool created by the social engineers, the high priests of the secret orders that attempt to rule this world, who have been working to break down indigenous culture and family values for millennia. Of course, the most hunted down people on this earth have been and still are the indigenous. Indu is Old Latin for in, within, and genus means generate, birth, create. So someone who is indigenous is born from within. They create meaning and generate knowledge from within, from their direct connection to the source. They experience life inside out. Whereas in our modern societies, meaning is generated externally. Knowledge is acquired outside in. And thus we are orphaned on the land we're born on. We are no longer indigenous in the true sense of the word, as our original cultures have been hijacked. We have become exogenous. But all is not lost. I see that we can still heal this collective trauma, the destruction of our indigenous roots and the theft of our identities. We just need some good medicine. Now, many of us have woken up to the inherently flawed paradigm of modern medicine, Western medicine. Their way is to numb, poison, cut, radiate, or burn the human body. They separate the body from the soul and are unable to recognize the emotional and spiritual causes behind physical symptoms. I reject even calling it medicine because it is not medicine. It's far from it. I'm paraphrasing my friend Dr. Stephen Young, as he once said a brilliant thing. Medicine is supposed to mediate the sin. Medicine. Or to bring the sine wave back from the extremities into the middle. So to practice medicine is to bring all systems into harmony. What medicine is not is using violent means to silence the symptoms or cover up the sin. True medicine is about seeing how all of the symptoms are connected, and in fact, the perfect response to the circumstances present. Cause and effect. Collectively, societally, culturally, We cannot heal if we treat each malady as a separate issue and attempt to manage them one by one, like they do in Western medicine. We have to recognize how these issues are connected. We have to be able to see the source of the dysfunction and start there. We must reconcile the sin and once again walk the golden middle way. So what is this sin? The Shipibo indigenous people speak of shitana, which is developed when one is going against nature, when one is going against their own true nature. We can use this concept as the parameter according to which we measure our alignment. How far are we from the natural way? How far are we from home? 2 years ago, I co-founded a community project in my motherland with the mission of collective soul retrieval. We are a private membership association called Kotiinpaluu Heimo, meaning homecoming tribe, and we are coming up to 1,000 members soon. Yeah. Our goal is to revive indigenous Finnish culture and build the foundations for a natural parallel society. And now remember, each of our countries, each of our lands have the memory of our indigenous culture. Indigenous are not just people living in Africa, Australia, and South America. Each of our lands have indigenous origin. Yeah? And the emblem of our tribe is the white female wolf standing in the sunrise, symbolizing the return of the sacred feminine. Today, as we speak, we are launching the first episode of our 10-episode documentary series called Kotiinpaluu Sarja, meaning Homecoming Series, where we document the first steps of our journey home. We are making this documentary in order to preserve the seeds of this beautiful dream and to be able to share the precious moments of bringing this vision from ether to earth. And this will be available. I'll be sharing it on my channels, subtitled, so you guys all can also share and see our project. So although we are only in the beginning, I feel that we have already set into motion a shift which can no longer be stopped. I believe that from here on out, we will only gain more strength, for the foundations we have laid for our tribe are solid. Everything is based on trust and genuine kinship. There are 9 different values which we have selected as the moral basis for our association. Each of these 9 values also come with agreements, declarations, which work as the written terms and conditions for joining our membership. They are harmony, respect, reciprocity, responsibility, trust, peace, mercy, freedom, and love. One of the most important values we cherish is peace. For we are committed to protecting the spiritual integrity of this collective. Disagreements are natural, but we do not weaponize our word against each other. We stick to the matter at hand. If a conflict would arise, we require that both parties join a mediation so that the issue may be solved. If one would repeatedly decline the invitation to the mediation, their membership would be terminated. We have come to see that in order to guard the peace, we must have collective agreement as well as boundaries. This is how we are changing the culture of relating amongst us. And this has a monumental effect to our capacity to co-create. Trust can only be generated with respect. One must be trustworthy. And when we have trust, we have safety. When we have safety, we have the space to be creative. We have a fertile ground for our nervous systems to relax, for our mental landscapes to be free, and for the spark of the Creator to work miracles in our visions, in our lives. Another way we create harmony within our group is by exercising sociocratic principles in our decision making. We require a near unanimous decision in our circles because we recognize the unique life experiences, viewpoints, and needs of each other, and take into consideration the dissenting voices. In fact, they are a gift. And in meetings, one cannot disagree with something without being able to explain the reasons for their stance. And this is how we practice proper listening and proper communication. We have a dialogue. We seek compromises. And when finally a vote has to take place, we have a hierarchy of wisdom. The solution, which can best take into consideration the needs of the individual as well as the needs of the community, will win. This is an ancient indigenous way. Of course, this kind of hierarchy of wisdom and circle of trust can only work in a voluntarist, self-organized, decentralized network of people and communities. This is exactly what we're building. A tribe of families coming together and joining forces around the same cause. What distinguishes us from a religious community is that we value diversity and the individual rights of our members. We do not attempt to all foster the same exact beliefs. We don't care if you prescribe to a heliocentric or geocentric worldview. We don't care if you believe viruses exist or not. We don't care if you pray on your knees or by communing with trees. We are building a society together. It's a working environment. I'm sure all of you have one point in your life experienced being in a workplace where you actually get along with people. There's a good flow, a positive vibe, and things are getting done. You don't stop to harass your colleague at the next till or desk about their political opinions or their worldview. You don't interrogate them about their religious beliefs. You let them be. You let them be different, and still, you can collaborate. We can be different together. And of course, everyone has the freedom of association. So you can work as a collective on a large scale while building more intimate projects with your soul sisters and brothers who are aligned on all levels with you. There are levels of trust. There are levels of kinship. This is how the physical communities and eco-villages come together as well, which are in the making in our tribe. So you see, as a whole, we're not focusing on refining every single detail of how to make one community flourish. We see that community is a living organism and it has a life of its own. So attempting to control it too much can stifle this natural process of self-organizing and co-creation. We give space for joy and spontaneity. Furthermore, we are thinking big. How can we facilitate the birth of an entire tribe of communities? This has been our blessing. With our monthly €11 membership fee, we can actually hire and train experts from amongst our members whose work is to develop the operative structure of our association so that we have processes and resources available which can support the many ideas and projects that are coming from our members. Our first 2 years, we have been focusing on anchoring the energetic foundation in place by organizing a lot of events and this way facilitating the real-life meetings and connections being born amongst our members. Yet we do already also have different working groups who are beginning to lay down the physical building blocks for a parallel society. We have a group who is working to establish natural farming collectives. We have people developing sustainable energy production inventions. We are setting up holistic healing centers. We are creating homeschooling circles and workshops where we can teach each other the lost crafts and skills like knitting, weaving, pottery, carpentry, etc. We organize markets to sell the products of our local entrepreneurs and artists, and much, much more. This is only the beginning. So can you imagine what happens when 1,000 or 10,000 or 100,000 people who have stopped debating each other, who have stopped mistrusting each other, decide to honor each other and collaborate? Yeah? We are talking about a true nebula, a star nursery, a birthplace of an entire culture. From this place of love and mutual trust, we create the songs, the stories, and the relationships that elevate the spirit, that nourish the heart, and call the original human being back to life. My friends, this is my prayer. May our hearts be inspired by the innumerable lives given to guard our humanity. May our souls be strengthened by the memory of freedom. May our minds be protected by the song of creation. May our voices kneel in service to the truth that liberates. And may our hands become blessed by the deeds that heal our human family and build the new earth. Thank you. Gracias. Kiitos.
Yes, keep it going. Make some noise for Hena Maria. Sounds like we need to do the next People's Reset in Finland when it's not cold. All right, guys. Wow, it's been a beautiful morning. Before anybody leaves the room, when we break for lunch and workshops, just want to make a couple of quick announcements. First, again, thank you to everybody at home who's continuing to watch and everybody who's donating. We are seeing those come in, and we're very grateful to you for doing that. I want to share one more comment that just came in on the message in the Telegram. It's so healing and inspiring to hear and watch this event. So happy that people all over the world are able to join you in Morelia. Thanks to all who made this event happen. So people from all over the world are watching and tuning in, really feeling this love and this inspiration, this activation that we're trying to share. So I want to make one announcement. Everybody, please join us here at 4:10 when we wrap up the official day in the live stream. We will be having networking after that, but as far as the live stream goes, I want to invite all our speakers, the performers, volunteers, and everybody to join me on stage, and everybody here who's attending to be in this room as we make our final announcement for 2026, and share a few other words of inspiration and just messages for you guys. So please join us at 4:10 at the end of the day. The other thing is we're about to break off. There's going to be workshops in the green space. There's already a lot of people there for one workshop. There'll be more people there. And whoever wants to join me and Presence, we're going to give filming our music video another shot since we don't have the footage right now. So there's going to be a lot going on. And of course, tonight, the final closing ceremony from 7 to 11 p.m. in this room. We're going to have the cacao ceremony led by Miriam and Myra, and the closing, the music temple led by Lucas with help from Yoshi and Paula and others. So you're not going to want to miss that. It's just a great way to sort of ground. And I know everybody's getting ready to start heading home. Some people have already started heading home. I just want to remind you again, guys, that the real work starts when we all get home, wherever that is. Like, we've been together, shared some wonderful moments, shared and exchanged a lot of beautiful ideas. Now it's time to take those home, to integrate them. And when you get home, don't let this feeling you're feeling right now, that inspiration, that feeling you have when you listen to Henna share this words of wisdom and these powerful ideas, take it with you, take it back to your local area. And if each of us do that, 1 year from now when we reconnect, we're going to have stories to share of our successes and of our growth within our own communities. And that's how we're going to build that world that we know is possible. So thank you guys for being here. Everyone, we'll see you at 2 p.m. Thank you so much.